far from home. I feel blurry where my weight is gone. There is nothing. Whenever I go wrong, I hear the same old song, voices from below. I fear it never goes away. All I could do in the end was wait, laying down with my faith. All I could do in the end was wait, united with my fear, I'll alleviate. The loop goes on and on until my mind is gone, gone and sure goes. The barricades are strong, it's been there all alone. Have dared, accepted, the tower can't be torn before the game is won. Losing control is the only way there. All I could do in the end was wait, laying down with my faith. All I could do in the end was wait, united with my fear, I'll alleviate. Laying down with my faith.
That's yeah. So like we're gonna talk about the vocal technique, but it's very important asterisk. Like it I would feel weird not commenting on like that was a very heartfelt performance. You know, technique helps us have versatility and options. And ergonomics can help, you know, you perform longer as a professional. That's very important. Vocal health, all that. So technique has a place. It is not everything. Yeah. So we have to just give props on the emotional performance that just happened. That said, now we're going to talk about technique. There are a couple of really interesting things going on that when people want to do different styles, the different, you know, like ergonomics and efficiency is not the point of singing. It's not Thunderdome. It's not a competition. It's not Gladiator. Like singers don't go into an arena and see who's the most efficient singer, right? So when you're trying to get certain stylings, it's really important to work with folks who understand that those different aesthetic options. In the beginning, he has a soft palate down, which will give him less overtones, and more overtones help with breath control, but they don't, you know, you don't want to make everything about maximum overtones because then you'll get this sound. Right? A lot of overtones here. That's not a fun sound. I don't think anyone wants to fucking hear that sound, right? Right? I can get, there's less overtones objectively, but I can do more with that tone. The other thing the dude's got going on, and I think this is really interesting, is an intentional use of chest tension. So if I want to do my Maroon 5 impression, in fact, actually my speaking voice now, if I have much a looser chest and I'm open like this, I don't get like a deeper tone, and you get more of my real voice, which is much higher because I'm a tenor, right? So chest tension can be used deliberately for effect, like Sunday morning rain is falling, shed some skin, be like that, and she will be loved, right? And then I can let it go on purpose, on will, right? Because like the more you go high, the more ergonomic your singing should be if you want comfort on the highs. So, and she will be loved, right? And he does that. He is using chest tension on purpose and doming the soft palate to get like a little bit more of an intimate sound.
In the air, was swaying, laying down with my
face, right?
All I could do in the air.
Now, as he ascends, it's not like the soft palate is not about down or up, right? So it got a whole range of motion. So as he ascends, he's doing it that way. The other thing he's doing too is oftentimes with vowels, like it depends on the genre. So if I do, oh, it's often used many words to say a simple thing. It takes thought and time and rhyme to make a poem sing, right? I'm trying to smoothly change my vowel because that fits the aesthetic, right? And I specialize in genres where there's ergonomics and there's smoothness of tone, and transitioning through vowels is very, all that. But if you want to emphasize notes, quickly changing between your vowels, right, like that, is its own kind of coordination, its own skill. And that's what he's doing to bring out the notes. Right?
The loop goes on and on until my mind is gone.
When he jumps, soft palate, right? Lifts up, brighter vowel. And when my mind is gone, right?
Gone and sure goes. The barricades is strong. He's been there all alone. Half dead, accepted. The tower can't be torn before the game is won. Losing control.
Ah, now we finally have some vibrato. Oh! So, vibrato happens when, I got Bob here, when the cricothyroid muscles contract, the thyroid cartilage tilts forward, and your vocal folds, which are right here, stretch out like a rubber band, okay? And this is not a great explanation for vibrato, but it serves our purposes for now. Because the vocal folds are connected to the thyroid cartilage, they stretch out, and as that tilt happens, the stability between the contraction of the cricothyroid as well as the vocal fold tension kind of creates that wobble. Not exactly, we actually don't really know how vibrato works, but that's a useful concept. So we're going to go with that. We're still figuring a lot. There's a lot we don't know about the human voice. So, but we do know the thyroid cartilage tilts and the vocal fold stretch. That helps us go high because it keeps vocal closure, right? The alternatives are to raise your larynx or flip in a falsetto or belt, which he will also do. And belting is a different mechanic entirely. We also don't entirely know how belting works. The best theory that I've heard of so far is that the thyroid cartilage goes backwards and then the folds fatten. So the inverse happens. And that gets us that power. More breath pressure builds underneath. Falsetto.
All I could do in the end.
Falsetto is often treated like it's dirty or something, but like isn't that pretty? Isn't that nice, right? So being able to belt, being able to like raise your larynx depending on what you want to do, being able to like having these options so that you can make artistic decisions is a nice thing to do. And as an opera singer, listen, there are only so many ways to project over an orchestra. I have options. I just don't have this many options if I want to be heard over the orchestra without any amplification, right? So having tools in your toolkit as an artist is a good idea, I think.
Laying down with my face. All I could do in the end was wait. United with my fear, I'll alleviate.
So we have belting, then we have reinforced falsetto, which is it's kind of different. I don't exactly know how it works, but I know I can do it. It's something I figured out in my early 20s when I was trying to do high notes in full voice. And boy, is it loud, but it looks weird on spectrogram. It's not what you'd think it is. So if I do like my G5, right? This is what really cuts. But the full voice stuff it has more overtones. It doesn't have as much air leaking, right? There's more vocal closure here, so we get more overtones and stuff like that. But damn, if this frequency doesn't punch. So that is part of its unique quality. Whereas falsettos, I don't practice it that much, like at all. It doesn't project over an orchestra. But yeah, you can see it's like not as hot. It's very gentle. So yeah, reinforced falsetto is its own thing. And again, we just don't know much about it, but it is cool. You basically go into falsetto, but you just do the brightest vowel. That's the only thing I could think of is how to explain it. Is like when I found it, it was like as bright as possible. Like it's crazy bright. Now vocal distortion up high is hard. So high notes require less air. They require more support, which basically means like keeping your rib cage expanded, keeping your torso loose. Some people explain it as inhaling as you exhale, which would kind of keep your rib cage expanded is what that does. And that is already difficult. Adding vocal distortion makes it harder. So I actually started as a blues singer, so I can do the growling. Lie to me. But that doesn't exactly work up high. I think this is more arytenoid cartilage distortion, which I think you can get if you contract the periepiglottic muscles. I think that's what it is, but I'm not an expert on distortion. All right, so these are your arytenoids, and these are the periepiglottic muscles. So if you contract them and you bring your vocal, and you have your vocal closure, you can kind of bring the arytenoids together. But like even that quietly is really uncomfortable because it's still too much breath. That's really uncomfortable. But that's the type of distortion that I think he's going for. God, that doesn't feel good. So like you have to do that very efficiently. The contraction has to be just so it's not over the top, because otherwise it's just too inefficient to be safe. And then there's something to be said about how it sounds, right? Mine sounds like shit. Yeah, so just the tiniest bit of distortion in there, just like bringing them just barely close enough for that distortion, and being very, very careful about your breath. You cannot use too much breath, otherwise it's not going to go up. This is really pretty sick. There's a lot going on. Clearly, this person has played a lot. Playing is the best way to practice. Having fun and experimenting and being curious is the best way to practice. And this person has done a lot of that to figure out a lot of this different stuff. It's really cool.